Here we are in the QBO gym, and this is the place where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you each month, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you are a bookkeeper and looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do an entire month's worth of these all on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. But let's get started with today's exercise, which is being pulled from our June Year 1 cardio section, where we really focus on periodic inventory. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client Craig this month. Under that is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Below that are the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here is an optional area where after you have completed all of the exercises in this section, you will unlock some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's dive into today's exercise where we are going to practice recording purchases and sales. Go ahead and click on that link to have the exercise pulled up. I have it here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through our scenario. Craig wants to order a bunch of inventory from Mahoney Mugs, but he's not sure whether those items are in stock. To make a formal request for this inventory, he asks you to create a purchase order to send to Mahoney. Craig made a number of sales to various customers as well and has some information to help you record those. Now, you will need to be in the same session of the sample company that you did the previous exercise in. If you have not completed that one yet, go ahead and click on the link on the top right corner of your screen. That'll take you to that exercise, complete that one, and then come back to this one. They all build on each other, so it's really important to start with that first one. But let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. I have over here the sample company. This is the last page that I left off of and what your screen should look like if you did the first exercise. All right, so note that a purchase order, or PO for short, is not the same as an expense or even a bill. Purchase orders are non-posting transactions, which means that they do not actually record an actual change in the situation of the business. A PO simply records Craig's intent to purchase inventory from Mahoney Mugs. So let's go ahead and create that purchase order by clicking on the plus new button and then selecting purchase order. The plus new button on the top left corner of the screen, click on that, and then under vendors, select purchase order. In the vendor field, we want to go ahead and select Mahoney Mugs. So click on that down arrow. You can either start typing in their name or you can scroll down about halfway to find Mahoney Mugs. Once found, go ahead and click on it. For now, we're going to skip the ship to and ship via fields at the top of the form because Craig has no special instructions for how or where Mahoney ships these items. So that's right here and here. So let's go ahead and fill out this. In the item details grid on the first line in the product service field, we want to select bird, bath, rubber duck. Now let's scroll down here. Right now the category details grid is showing. You can click on this arrow to collapse it if you would like, and then click on the arrow next to item details to open up that grid. So in this first line on the product service field, we're going to look for bird, bath, rubber duck. I just typed in bird to have it show up here. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. In the quantity field, we're going to type 120 since that's what he is hoping to buy. So 120 in the quantity field. When you hit that tab key over, you will see that QBO is automatically making that calculation for the amount 120 times $2 each. On the second line in the product service field, we want to select RC Mini Lawnmower. So go ahead and click into that. Once again, I'm going to start typing in lawnmower just so I can find that a little bit easier. Here it is, that RC Mini Lawnmower Adults Only. Click on that. In the quantity field, we're going to type 6. So click into that quantity field, type 6, hit the tab key over, and you will see the calculation has been made for a total of $960 for this purchase order. So we are all good here, nothing left to fill out. We're going to go ahead and click on Save and Close. Go ahead and click on that green Save and Close button. And now that purchase order 1005 has been saved. All right, so Mahoney Mugs is happy to sell Craig more inventory on credit. Unfortunately, though, they do not have all the RC lawnmowers that he wants right now. Since he ordered so many ducks, though, they are going to give him a small discount off their list price. Craig has provided you with the bill Mahoney sent, and his inventory is delivered shortly afterward. In QBO, you can use the purchase order you just created to fill in the bill from Mahoney. But first, you have to find it. So let's go ahead and look for it. From the left navigation bar, we're going to hover over expenses and then select expenses. So that is over here. Here's this is the left navigation bar. Expenses is halfway down, hover over that and then select expenses. Now we're going to click on the arrow next to all transactions and then click on purchase order. This will just help filter and narrow down that list so we're not having to scroll all the way through. If you get any pop-ups, feel free to click out of those. Even though we can see this purchase order is right at the top here, let's go ahead and do it the way the exercise shows so that you understand that you can filter out different expenses to see just the types that you are looking for. So you click on that down arrow next to all transactions, and then you want to select purchase order. And now you're only seeing purchase orders from this list. Now again, on that purchase order line, that first one, that 1005, we want to click on the arrow next to the action column and then click copy to bill. So I need to scroll over here. It is at the end of that row, the very top one. Click the down arrow and then select copy to bill. All right, so note that the bill links the purchase order in the top left and is pre-populated with Mahoney Mugs as the vendor with with the item details line 1 and 2 as you enter them. Since this data isn't a match for the actual bill you receive, though, we'll have to make some updates. So remember, you aren't making any changes to the purchase order itself. Craig's request didn't change. It's just that Mahoney just couldn't fulfill what he has expected. So that's why we're making adjustments here to the bill, not the purchase order. So in the terms field, we want to select net 15. So in the terms field right here, click that down arrow, select net 15, which just means that he has 15 days to pay it. The due date should automatically update to reflect this change. So whatever your bill date here, which is going to default to today, 15 days later is what will show up here on that due date. Now, Mahoney didn't provide a control number on the invoice. So in the bill number field, we're going to enter the date it was issued, which we'll just say is today. So click into that bill number field and go ahead and enter today's date. And again, your date may be different depending on when you're doing this exercise. Now, if you remember, Craig ordered so many ducks that they are giving him a small discount off of the list price. So in the rubber ducks rate field, we want to type $1.90. So they're giving him 10 cents off. So click into that, type $1.90. When you hit that tab key over, you will see that QBO is updating the amount for it. Now remember, they don't have all of the RC mini lawnmowers. So on that line, we're going to type 5. So over that 6, delete that, type a 5. When you hit the tab key, you will see that it has been updated. All right, so this bill is matching what it is that Craig has. And so we're going to click on the arrow next to save and schedule and then select save and close. Mine says save and new. Whatever it says right here is not as important as clicking on that down arrow to get save and close. So once you find it, go ahead and click on it. And now that bill has been saved. So Craig went to a bunch of farmers markets to sell his merchandise and promote his company's service. He has given you a tally of what he has sold and the cash he collected over the course of the past few weekends. He deposited the cash directly into the bank on the way home, so let's record the sales. This is our new section, this sales summary. I should have pointed this out. Felt a little abrupt how we changed that there. So we just did all of the bill and everything for Mahoney, and now we're moving on to the sales. So to create that record of the sales, we're going to click on the plus new button and then select sales receipt. So the plus new button on the top left corner of the screen, click on that. Under customers, go ahead and select sales receipt. And then let's go ahead and fill it out. Now this is from the sales from his market. So let's create a new customer that's just a generic market customers. To do that in the customer field, we're going to select plus add new. So click into that down arrow, select plus add new. You'll see this customer profile appear. In the customer display name field. We want to type market customers. So click into that and then go ahead and type market customers. Now we don't need to fill out anything else here because this is just kind of a general market customers. Craig doesn't have the information for each individual customer that he had, but he does have this information here, or does have a generic market customers to encompass all of the people that bought from him at those markets. So let's go ahead and click on the green save button on the bottom right corner. And then let's go ahead and fill out the rest of this sales receipt. In the payment method field, we want to select cash. So that is the down arrow right here next to payment method field. Go ahead and select cash. You'll note that the undeposited funds is already selected in the deposit to account. And this is the account, the holding account we use for checks and cash before they physically make their way into the being deposited into the bank. So that's why you use undeposited funds. Once it's made its way into the bank and been deposited, you would fill out a bank deposit transaction for it. So make sure that this says undeposited funds. Let's go ahead and fill this out. On the first line in the product service field, we're going to select bird, bath, rubber, duck. So click into that box. I'm going to go ahead and start typing in bird to have it show up. Bird, bath, rubber, duck. Click on that. And then in the quantity field, we're going to type 96. That's how many he sold. So click into that, type 96. When you hit the tab key over, QBO is making that calculation for you. On the second line in the product service field, we're going to select RC mini lawnmower adults only. So click into that. I'm going to start typing in mini to get that one showing up for us. Once you find it, go ahead and click on it. In the quantity field, we're going to type 3 since that's how many he sold. Type in that 3, hit the tab key over, and you will see that the QBO has made the calculation for us. All right, so now we can just go ahead and save and close this. So that's the green button on the bottom right corner. Go ahead and click on it. And now that sales receipt has been saved. All right, so that bank deposit, what I was just talking about. So Craig collected a total of $1,550 at the market and deposited it all into the business bank account. The amount deposited doesn't match the total of the sales that we just recorded. This could be because the customer put money in a tip jar or said, keep the change, or simply accidentally overpaid. Since that's significantly more than the expected sales price of the items, you'll have to make up the difference using one of the fields in the deposit form. So let's say that Craig has deposited now all of that money, and then this is what we would do, creating this bank deposit transaction. So we're going to click on the plus new button and then select bank deposit. The plus new button on the top left corner, click on that. And then under other, go ahead and select bank deposit. Now we need to make sure that the account field says checking. Mine already does. If it doesn't on yours, just click the down arrow and then select checking. We are going to leave the date field as is, but of course in a real life scenario, you want to make sure that this date is matching the date that the money was actually deposited into the account. Now we want to click on the checkbox next to Market Customers. This is from the sales receipt that we just recorded earlier. That's why we have depositing to in deposited funds. It shows up here on this list until it physically makes its way into the bank account. So click the checkbox next to Market Customers, and you will see the amount that is showing here. But remember, he had deposited a total of $1,500. So we need to add that information here on this bank deposit transaction. So scroll down to this Add Funds to this Deposit section. And in the Received From field, we want to select Market Customers. So click into that Received From. I'm going to go ahead and just start typing in Market so that I can find it easily. Once you find it, go ahead and select it. In the Account field, we want to select Retail Sales Income. So click into that down arrow, and then you're going to scroll down until you find Retail Sales Income. It is an income account. In the payment method field, we're going to select cash since that's what it was that he had collected. Click that down arrow, select cash. And now we want to make the equation here of 1550. I think I said earlier that he deposited 1500. It's actually 1500 or 1550. So we want to do this 1550 minus the 1354.89, which is what is showing up here at the top. So in the amount field, click into it and do that $1,550 minus 1354.89. When you hit the tab key over, you will see the difference between those two showing up. And this is the difference between what Craig collected and what his customers owed. QBO can do this math for you. When you click out of this field, you should see this amount that I just mentioned here. And you'll note that the total deposit at the top of the form will now show the total that Craig collected and deposited, that $1,550. You can see it down here at the bottom as well. So this bank deposit is all complete. All we need to do is click on the arrow next to Save and New to select Save and Close. So click that down arrow and then go ahead and select Save and Close. And now that bank deposit has been saved. All right, moving on to sales on credit. Amy's Bird Sanctuary wants to buy a dozen bird bath rubber ducks to decorate their habitats. Craig agrees to credit terms of net 10 and delivers the ducks right away. So let's see how to record this. We're going to click on the plus new button and then select invoice. So the plus new button, once again on the top left corner, click on that. Under customers, go ahead and select invoice. And now let's go ahead and fill it out. In the customer field, we want to select Amy's Bird Sanctuary. So click into that box and you will see that she is the first one listed. Go ahead and select her name. And you'll note that as soon as you selected her name, this pop-out drawer appeared. It seems that Amy has some outstanding billable charges, but you're not going to worry about those for right now. You can leave the tray open here, the drawer open on the right side, or you can close it by clicking on the right-facing arrow near the top corner of the screen. So if you want to leave this open, you can. My screen here in general is shortened, so I'm going to click on the arrow to collapse it so that I don't have to see it anymore. Now remember, Craig had said that the terms were for net 10, so we want to update that in the terms field. Click on that down arrow in terms, the terms field, select net 10. You'll notice that as soon as you do that, the due date is going to be 10 days after the invoice date, which is defaulting to today. Your dates may be different depending on when you're doing this exercise. Let's fill out the rest of it. On the first line in the product service field, we're going to select bird bath rubber duck. So when you click into that field and you start typing in bird to get bird bath rubber duck, go ahead and select it. In the quantity field, she purchased 12, so we want to go ahead and click into that quantity field, type 12. When you hit the tab key over, QBO makes the calculation for you and updates the invoice. Now, in a real life scenario, you could always save and send this invoice directly to Amy, but in the sample company, we can't actually send invoices. So we are simply going to save and close it. Click on the down arrow next to save and send, and then go ahead and select save and close. And now that invoice has been saved, and that's it. That is how you would record purchases and sales. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. We're going to move through the cardio section, and if you want to join, be sure to leave this session of the sample company open, as you will need it for the last exercise in this section where we practice processing other transactions. And I will see you in the next